How's it going? I got a new video for you. People have been asking for longer content, so I try to take as much footage of this last week working on the car as we could, and I want to go over those changes that we made to the car to turn it into its final transformation. So the car is behind me here, and let's go back and take a look. So we got a new front bumper on the car, which it's the same bumper, it's just refreshed and no cracks in it from when we hit the cones, or when I hit the cones, I should say. No one else was driving, so. But now the car has side skirts from Carbonetics, the Carbonetics front bumper, and the Carbonetics rear hatch. Rear hatch is really nice. It has these side fairings. And the other change we made was inside the car, just for ease of access. I got rid of the carbon dash and we just put John mounted the keypad and the screen for me here, so that we don't have to spend 3 or 4 minutes every time we get back to the pits to remove the dash, just to be able to get in there and work on the clutch. So yeah, small changes there. The engine setup is still the same. Got the 110 turbo on there, so nothing has really changed in that part, but it's all ready to go. We're going to be leaving for streetcar takeover in Rockingham, North Carolina tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday, but that's it. I call this the final boss form. Kind of cheesy, but I think it really, it's like the final form of this car. This is how it's gonna be retired, in this form right here. It is May 1st, and we have the race in North Carolina, which is streetcar bragging rights, in 12 days. And this is the condition right now. So we got no engine, no transmission right now. Transmission's fine, but the engine is not so fine. We're waiting on pistons, which are supposed to be here tomorrow, Friday. And then Mr. Roche is gonna put it all together for me and get it back here in time, hopefully, for the race. So we're gonna be down to the wire here next week, trying to get this thing crunched and back together. But yeah. What's up, everybody? So we've been working on the car nonstop this week, and we're making some changes. As you can see, Carbonetics was nice enough to get us a new bumper that's more rigid. We had some issues with it kind of caving in these softer areas where there was thinner material. So on the previous bumper over here, you can see we braced it up really heavy. I'm gonna go over here and show you, flip the camera around so it's not backwards. So you can see here on the previous bumper where we had some cracking going on. And you can see how we added a bunch of Zeus tabs in for bracing. So on the new bumper, it's a lot more rigid. We don't need as much bracing. So you can see we only have 1, 2, 3, and then there's one up there by the headlight. So 4 Zeuses per side. And then the other thing we're working on is an undertray for the car. So John and I have been nonstop like the past 3 days on this thing. A lot of fabrication work was required to get this thing to go in, and a lot of Zeuses. So you can see here, that's temporary, but this is how they'll look. You can see we have a full flat underbelly. This sheet was made by Carbonetics as well. It's nice and rigid, and it'll be running pretty much the whole way back until the solid axle. Now this sheet is a little different. I had to go with a different brand to make that big enough to fit, but I will be changing that out with a Carbonetic sheet once Sergio can make that for me. This sheet is from Summit Racing, and it's really flimsy. I don't like it. Like, you can see the difference there versus Sergio's sheet, which is a ton more rigid. So it'll be nice once we can get that sheet in. Just have to recut it. So we had to make little stands to be able to use the lift still. So we made little removable bolt setups basically by welding a nut onto the chassis, and then we can put these bolts on when we need to use the lift. But you can see here all the fab work John's done, adding all these tubes with tabs onto them. So you can see in there, the tube with the tab. And then around here, around all the edges, we also added side skirts that Sergio made. And we will be adding a new hatch that's supposed to show up tomorrow. So this is Thursday. And the race is, we're basically planning on leaving for the race on Tuesday. And we have no engine and no trans in the car yet, which is about par for the course with us, right? We usually put the engine and trans in about 2 days before the race and hope for the best. So it's a typical race week. The other thing John added in here was these are for the Pro Jack. So these are like little stands. So the Pro Jack can come up in here without hitting the panel. So they're about right level with the panel, so the Pro Jack will come up in here and lift us up. These panels are going to complicate things a little bit with serviceability. We're probably going to have to lift the car up, remove all the tabs, and then put the car back down on the ground, then slide the panels out in like a 2-step process if we have to really like service the engine or do something like that. I think we're planning on doing a panel, right, for oil change here maybe. A removable panel for an oil change here, and then we'll need a removable panel in this general area right here, which is where the trans is, because we got to cool the clutch and work on the clutch in between rounds. So we'll need a serviceable panel there as well. But other than that, I mean, it's coming together. It's just been 3 days of work, which I didn't expect. I was expecting to be dropping the engine in by now, but we'll get it done. 4 days of work?
Around day 4.
Oh, John says 4 days of work. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot more than what we expected, but it's gonna turn out really cool. I'm hoping it helps. I'm hoping it helps with ET and mile an hour both. So we'll see. It's really, like I said, it's really rigid now. It's pretty awesome. So here's all the engine, driveline parts, bell housing, drive shaft, intake manifold, all that stuff. Here's the templating system that we were using for making these plates. So it took almost a half a day just to make the templates so that we can weld the tubes in and have room to weld the tabs in. So we had cut out those holes. That's why those holes are cut out. And then these slots are for the lift arm bolts. We had to cut slots out so we could get that in and out. And then, you know, this is of course the cut out for the tire so that the car can still turn. So yeah, pretty complex process. And then my engine is in there, so that's almost done. There's the template for the rear plate, and then the template for the carbon sheet we haven't cut yet is right here. So you can see this one doesn't have all the holes cut out yet for all of the bars and the tabs. So that's what we got to do today, and hopefully end of today we have this undercarriage completely done, and then I can move on to putting the engine in tomorrow and trans in tomorrow on Friday. And then we'll go through all the lines, getting it all plumbed over the weekend, and hopefully on Monday it'll be ready to start up, and then we will leave on Tuesday. So why this process takes so long is we have to add these braces basically that will drop the tab level down to where we want our actual panel to be. So in this case, like we have a pan that sits under the engine that catches any oil. If like I have an engine problem, it would catch all the oil in that pan. This panel has to sit below that pan. So what we have to do is drop our sheet level down to below that pan, and we use these tubes and these tabs welded on, something like that, and then our button goes up through there, through the panel. That's what you see here.
Talking dirty to the camera again, huh?
Yeah. So that's why it's taken so long. It's just, you know, a 1x1 thing. Basically, we have to put the sheet bed, the cardboard sheet back up in, and then cut a hole out so we can get access to this, weld this in, and then we'll actually drill the holes in the cardboard sheet so that it centers these, so we know where to drill the carbon sheet out. And then the carbon sheet is actually the easiest part after we have the template all done. Just cutting out the carbon and drilling the holes in it is the easy part. It's making this cardboard template exactly perfect for the fitment of all of our tabs. So in addition to the side skirts and the new front bumper and the under tray, we're gonna be putting on a new hatch. That I worked with him on the design. I wanted him to build a hatch that had the rear window filled with carbon, so no rear window, and then had the drag bumper actually one solid piece built into the hatch. So he was able to come up with a design for that, and it looks really cool. I'm excited for that hatch. I think it's gonna look cool, but the complication is the chutes sit higher now than that hatch. So we're gonna have to drop the chute mounts down more to fit under that new hatch. So we got fabrication work there to do once we get the hatch on, which the hatch is supposed to be here tomorrow, Friday. So again, all these things are coming down to the last minute to try to have this thing in its final form for this possible last race with the car in North Carolina, Rockingham. And then one other thing we're gonna try to do is this is the back area of the car underneath. And you can see from this angle that it has a big flat spot back here. So we wanna try to get the air to flow down over that without catching it almost like a parachute. So get the airflow coming down around that. So if we have time, we're gonna try to do something there as well. There you can see all these little pockets that we're cutting out to be able to tack these on, tack these tabs on so we can get the Zeus fasteners in place. And at the same time, building these bars to support those tabs. So we need to build a bar out here. John just built this one. So let him weld this out. So what you can see we do here is we're putting a fastener about every 6 inches along the body of the car. So what we did was on the inside lip of like the side skirt and on the bumper, you can see there that we installed a spring directly onto the lip that goes around the bumper up underneath with rivets and drilled holes. And then we can put our fastener up through. And on this leading edge up here, we went every 6 inches, and then on the front edge, we're going every 3 inches just to keep any air from trying to sneak under there on that front edge where it's really gonna see a lot of wind speed. So you can see every 3 inches up here, and then every 6 inches everywhere else. And you can see now we got the full panel in place, and you can see how cool that looks. How well that turned out. That turned out really nice. It better for how long we put into it. So the last thing is just, I popped these holes in here right now. So we're gonna put springs on the inside of the panels up here so that we can zip these two separate panels together. And then we're gonna do the same for this rear panel. And so we can tie all 3 panels together. So here it is, the completed, well, at least 90% completed product. We have to do a access panel for the oil service, and then a trans pan here so that we can get into the clutch right in this area. But now you can kind of see the difference between the two different panels, between the one we got from Summit Racing here in the back, which is kind of a glossy panel, the thinner panel, and then the front panels from Carbonetics, which are the heavier, like more rigid stuff. You can see the difference in the texture, but it looks really good. This was a lot of work. I know John's ready to be done with this, and I am too. But it's pretty badass. The video, fuck. Okay, folks, so it's Thursday evening now, the end of our 4th workday on the car, and we have everything all together. We made our transmission pan access here. Not all the tabs are in there yet. We're waiting on more to show up. We actually went through 100 of those, so we need more. So I got some of those coming tomorrow. All this will be buttoned up after the engine goes in. So we're still waiting on putting the engine in. You can see here I'm still missing some tabs, but everything is all drilled out and everything is together. And like I said, this access panel right here is going to be able to be taken out, and now I can get up in here to service the transmission and service the clutch when I need to. So this panel here drops when we're on the Pro Jacks, and then I can get in there and work on the clutch in between rounds. But it's looking pretty awesome. So it took a lot longer than I thought, but man, did it turn out really cool. So the only thing left then is, if we have time, we're going to do that back panel here. And then I just looked at the tracking number on the hatch. It is still in Tennessee, so it's Thursday. I really wanted that hatch to show up tomorrow. That's what I was hoping for. It shipped from California on last Friday. So hopefully Freight can get this thing to me tomorrow. But I kind of doubt it. It's in Tennessee, so it might not show up till Monday now. So that might throw a wrench in our plans a little bit to get the hatch on there, because those chute mounts have to drop. So those the thing that actually hold the chute bag, that frame structure there, has to drop down about 2 or 3 inches, because the new hatch, it sits lower and is more flat. So we would have to change that. And man, wait until Monday last minute to do that is tough. But I really want to run it because I want to have the full package all together. I want the car to be, you know, fully transformed into its final form, I guess you could say. But yeah, still no engine, no trans in it yet. We're still working on the undertray, but it looks pretty much like we're done now. We just got to button it all up. So we got a drain hole for the fuel cell, the trans access, and then these panels will come off if we have to. If I have to do an oil change, we'll just take this whole right panel off, I think, at this point, because we're running out of time to keep working on this stuff. But man, it looks great, doesn't it? I'm really happy with this. Hopefully it improves ET and mile an hour. Here's what it looks like from the top side. And like I said, the engine is still out, and the transmission's still out. But we have all day tomorrow to work on that. This is what it looks like so far. Side skirts. Here you can see like how we have the frame structure mounting and holding everything on that. All the buttons and all the springs. That's the trans access panel there, you can see from the top side. What do you guys think? Is it gonna go faster or what? That is the only reason we're doing it, right? We want that record back, 6:48 or faster. So it's Friday before the race. We're gonna put the engine in now. Finally, we waited this long, but we had to take all the paneling back off under the car, and then put the engine trans in, plumbing. Hopefully get it close to fire up today, but probably not. John's doing leg lifts or something. I don't know what the fuck. Stainless. Engine's going in. John's licking it for some reason. So the clutch is going in now. I'm working on that. We're putting all new tires on because we had a cut. Was it this tire, John, or was it the other one? That tire. This tire had oh, right there it is. Big chunk out of it there. Slash. And then I don't know what was on the track, or maybe it was when I spun out. There's a big chunk missing out of the back tire too, John. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I did not.
Yeah. So new tires, pretty much everything is getting changed out this time. Now we're starting to look like something. Atlas transmission is in, the engine is dropped in. Still got to do everything around the engine, but at least we got an engine and trans in the car. What a difference a day can make. So it's Friday evening here. The engine is back in the car, getting close to being buttoned up. There's just some exhaust touch-ups that were needed here to get the charge piping and the header set up. We had some stuff move around, so John's working on that. But man, I feel so much better now. The car is so much further along. We're almost ready for fire up basically at this point. So we'll wrap a few things up this weekend, and hopefully Monday we'll be able to fire it up and be ready to load it in the trailer Tuesday morning and be on our way to North Carolina, to Rockingham. So the plan is right now we're gonna go to Rockingham on Tuesday. We'll show up there Tuesday evening. Wednesday there's a test session, so we'll be at that test session on Wednesday to do some testing. And then, yeah, hopefully we get it all ironed out and ready for the event. I mean, I think we ironed out most of the bugs at the last event, so we got a good handle on that new gear ratio. We're running a very tall 198 first gear, so it helps us get out of the hole with a little more power. We can basically throw all the power at it, and then it also gives us a softer 1 to 2 shift because we already have so much wheel speed at the top of first gear. So that's one of the things that's we've already kind of ironed out. So I'm pretty excited to actually be able to like throw it all at it at this event, and hopefully the track is, you know, top notch at this event. I heard Rockingham is amazing, so it's my first time ever racing in Rockingham, so I'm looking forward to it. Big thanks to John over at St. Lucie Battery and Tire for getting my tires mounted. So we're on all new front runners and new radials on the back too. See those Mickey's 10.5 tires. So everything's coming together. We just gotta get that hatch, and that's supposed to show up tomorrow on Saturday. I paid extra to get it here on Saturday, so we should be in good shape to have it all done and ready. All right, it's Saturday morning, and we have a special Saturday delivery from Saya, and we got the hatch. So there it is. We're gonna put that on tomorrow, and hopefully the car will be 100% completed. Here's what happens when you get impatient and just want to get the old hatch off so you can get to work. Just got to use the forklift to lift it on up off of there. This is the new hatch here, showed up from Carbonetics. Really nice piece. This is upside down. A little bit of damage here, right here, but nothing real major. It actually looks really cool. I can't wait to put this on. So here is me just laying the new hatch on. And man, it is pretty dang cool. So originally, here's that damage I was talking about. Got hit by the forks, I think, when someone was forking it off the pallet. But anyway, the thing I was worried about was these chute mounts and if it was gonna hit. And it's gonna be really close. It actually might be okay with the chute pack coming up like this. It might be like close to touching here, but we might not have to redo this bracket, which would save us a lot of time tonight. This is Sunday night. We got basically tonight and tomorrow to have the car fully ironed out. So the less we have to do, the better at this point. So I riveted on these side flares to the quarter panel, which I wasn't a real big fan of drilling into my quarter panel, but I don't really see any other way to do that. So then the last step here I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna make a brace coming out to here from that old wing mount. And then I'm gonna have to make some sort of Zeus tab bracket or something up under here. I'll probably have John help me with that. Fabricate something here to hold it so that it can be removed. And then we can also still move the hatch up and down if we need to get into the battery access. It's about 11 o'clock Sunday night. John has got the header fixed up. There was a couple hairline cracks there, so you can see where he welded that patchwork on there to reinforce it. So now that's done, and the rear wing is now on the car with the side panels. And I riveted up the quarter panel. I made this little Zeus plate and Zeus fastener underneath for each side, and then I used these supports here, so it's really nice and rigid. Bye, John. And the good thing is the chutes fit. We didn't have to modify the chute bar, which is awesome. So that saves a lot of time, but man, check it out. I think it looks pretty sweet. I'm anxious to see it on the ground and see how it looks with everything together. So this wing is something that Carbonetics made. Sergio there at Carbonetics made this specific for me based on my request. Initially, he had made a hatch that was flat like this. You know, typically the Supra has a bump that comes up. I can show you there. There you can kind of see it on my stock hatch, that bump comes up. So he basically made designed a hatch that was flat, which is cool, like better for air, right? Comes out flat. But he stopped it here and the wing was separate that he was building. And I said, you know what, Sergio, I want one that is full, like the wing is integrated into the hatch. So you can see there's no seam here, one piece. And I said, I want the back window filled in too. I don't need a back window. So he did that for me specifically, and this design kind of came from me. And I think he's gonna be very happy with the results from this. I think this is gonna be a hot seller for him. So hopefully you guys like it. You can get it with the rear window, of course. This is more of just for my drag car. But I think it looks really cool. It's really aggressive, and it should be really good for aerodynamics as well. And it's really light too. It's definitely lighter than the Sibon one that I had there with the separate wing. So the one thing I didn't show, I'm going to show real quickly here, is this rear under panel that we made. So before, this was a flat wall here. It was almost acted like a parachute for catching air. So we built this little bit of a slope panel that'll slope the air down and around. Well, I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you guys like the changes to the car. If you did like the video, please subscribe to my channel. I will try to do more videos like this. I will try to do more content, take more video as we're in here working. It takes a little bit of time to do that on my end, but I really want to grow the channel, and I really would like to show you guys what we're doing, because I think we're doing some pretty cool stuff with the 2JZ platform and with the stick shift stuff. So if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll try to do more like this.